Hey guys, it's me, Teddy. Well, I wanted to start a new video series. Planning to do this maybe every week or every couple of weeks, where I explore making some sounds and sharing them with all of you so you can use the sounds or use the techniques I use as inspiration for your own sounds. I want to make this as accessible as I can. It's a very expensive hobby, making music, so my goal here is to have a baseline of just Ableton standard, Ableton Live standard. So I'm going to feature a fair bit of built-in plugins from that, and also additionally any free VSTs that I think are good and useful. I'll be featuring some of those in here as well. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to try to put these out regularly. They're going to feature a little blurb at the beginning like this, and then some time spent with synths and plugins, designing some sounds, and then I think I'm going to end it with my favorite thing to do, which is just noodle around on the keyboard and make some music with this sound. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. So for our inaugural edition of Teddy's Sound Bites, we're going to be exploring a beautiful Rhodes piano sound, an electric piano. I'm not going to get into the whole history of Rhodes. Hopefully you know about it. It's an amazing electromechanical keyboard, invented during World War II and popularized ever since. There's many plugins and libraries out there that can create these sounds or based on these sounds. But today we're going to start with a stock plugin from Ableton Standard called Electric, which is a physical modeling electric piano emulation. I actually have several other Rhodes plugins myself. The other ones cost money, so we're going to start with this. I'm also going to use the free Supermassive Reverb plugin from Valhalla DSP. This is honestly my favorite reverb for sound design. Well, let's call the top three. There's so many reverbs. This one is great though. It's free. It's amazing. It's good for huge sounds and echoes. And what I'm going to show you how we're going to do it with the Rhodes today is make the Rhodes huge, massive, but also not too echoey, using some sideband compression. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our stock instruments and bring electric in. So. That is what a basic Rhodes sounds like. And you can play a fair bit with this stuff. You know, this is down to a lot of personal taste, I think. Would be a good way to describe it. You don't need to memorize what I'm doing here. Taking some of the stiffness and the hammers, and the tine sounds lowered. Alright, anyways, here's the basic sound. Okay, we got lots of plugins that can get us to this point as well. We're just using the free one. I mellowed it out a little. Now we do want to add a little bit more effects in here. So chorus, great one to use. They call it Ensemble. Here we go. Plenty of settings in here. What a chorus basically does is it pitch shifts the right and left stereo channels, so your left and right ears, differently, so that they sound wider or that they have movement to them. I think you can hear that now, and we were only at half wet. So the rate will really affect kind of, see what I mean? If you want something really wacky, let's throw a spray kind of water, you want a high rate. Generally though, when I'm using chorus on these kinds of sounds, Looking for a fairly low rate, a moderate amount, maybe a bit of feedback. So that's what it sounds like with the chorus. Take it off again. See, it's still nice, but it's much kind of wider and richer sounds now. So that's our starting point. Another one I really, really enjoy using on Rhodes is Tremolo, or what is also known in Ableton as Autopan Tremolo. So what this does is basically modulates the volume if it's in tremolo mode, or it modulates the pan, the side to side, or it can do a combination. We're going to actually play primarily with the panning. I want this sound, now that we've kind of made it a bit wider and richer, we're going to also want to have it rotating through pan, which gives it a bit more depth, and also it's important when we get to the reverb, which is kind of our next big phase here. So let's go ahead and do this. Should be able, if you have headphones or proper stereo speakers you're listening through, you can hear that moving side to side now. See if I can go all the way to the max amount. And that's going to pan hard left, hard right, and just continue back and forth. Not 100%. Kind of get that cool throbbing sound. Now, I will say too, one of my favorite songs of all time, Portishead. They use very heavy tremolo without the panning on, I think it's called Rhodes was the song actually, which is spelled like the road. To me, it's about the road to keyboard. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Beautiful sounding song. Okay, so yeah, we have some tremolo. So we've got some richness here, we've got some movement in the stereo field. I do feel we're pretty polite. This is a very polite sound so far, which is great, but let's give it a bit of dirt. Let's give it some edge. There's a ton of tools in Ableton for this. Distortion, the new one called Roar. This is only available with Ableton Suite, so we're not going to use that. I'm just going to go ahead and use the stock Saturator on just a little bit here. The other thing I want to do is move it back before the chorus. So we're adding a little bit of grit, some dirt, some noise to it, and I want that to happen first before we start manipulating the pitch and the pan and that kind of thing, so that dirt is throughout the sound, if you will, rather than adding at the end, which you can certainly do. But anyways, for the way this works, this is kind of the way I like to do it. So. this is what I'd call kind of a good starter sound. We've got a thing going on. And now let's get into the reverb. So I've got some sends here. You may have noticed that. This is how I like to do my templates, just to already have some reverb set up. There's one for near, mid, and far. These will be a bigger reverb the farther away because it's creating more echoes. It's in a larger space. So this is a simple way to quickly help mix your songs, right? You want your vocalist up front. You want your supporting instruments maybe in the middle or maybe very far away, depending on what they are, like a loud horn, brass, a trumpet player's extremely loud. You probably want him way in the back of the room. He's still going to play louder than literally a piano, right, up front. So anyways, depth in your music is fairly important. It's something that I've been learning a lot more about recently. I have too many reverbs. Anyways, enough about that. Okay, so here's Supermassive. What we've got here is the reverb category, large space verb. You can use, these are all great. This is a free plugin. You can get it from Valhalla DSP if you Google them.com here. Anyway, space verb. I love this sound. I love it. I love it. I don't know. So that's why we're using it. So over here, I'm going to increase my send to part C here, and let's hear how it sounds. You can see that is a long echoey tail, right? What I kind of want to show is how messy this gets, especially if you're playing with your pedal. You can't see my foot down here, but we do have a sustain pedal, like anyone who's played piano. This becomes part of our technique as we play all the time. So if I play with a lot of pedaling, you're going to hear a huge, too much almost sound building up. So. So there's a cool technique, you've probably heard of it, if you're in EDM especially, sidechain compression, constantly used in dance music. Usually though, the sidechain happening is the kick drum. So what sidechaining means is essentially we use one sound to modulate or affect the volume of another sound. So essentially in dance music, that's very important. The kick drum is super loud, super front and center of all the mixes. So this would be used on the other elements of a song to make sure the kick is always on top. So every time that kick plays, the sidechain will kick in and lower the volume of the other sounds or instruments in the track. So we're going to use that technique, but we're going to use it on this giant wall of reverb we are creating here. So what's going to happen is as we play more notes, or as our that stuff we're actively playing in becomes louder and louder, it's going to reduce the volume of the reverb more and more. So it's great. We're going to get there. There's going to be a lot of knobs we've got to turn here. So let's get into the technical part of it, and you'll hear how it sounds. It really is a huge improvement to the way this sounds right now. So drag in the compressor. Oh yes, okay, I'm going to rename this to a Rhodes just to remind myself which track I'm working with. Okay, so here's the track 1 that we're playing. Back to the reverb. Okay, so we got a compressor on it. What we now need to do is enable the side chain, okay? So we turn, so there's 2 steps, right? I flipped it out, external. So we're going to choose our Rhodes piano as the input. And let's get into the settings. I don't want the filter here. This is commonly, you would use this actually with a kick drum to make sure what you're doing is the sidechain signal is the entire Rhodes coming in, going through the filter before this. So in a kick drum scenario, you might want to use this so that you're only ducking or side chaining off the very low frequencies. Anyways, not applicable to what we're doing here today. So now we're into the main compressor settings. The knee is how aggressively the compressor is going to work. So for what we're doing here, I kind of want a soft knee. So the higher knee is the softer knee, if that makes sense. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how all the terminology was arrived at, but this is a softer knee, meaning that it won't be very abrupt when it lowers the volume, so it'll hopefully sound a lot musical. That's what we're going for, a subtle musical effect that makes sure it's not a wall of sound all the time, that when we play some notes, they stick to the front, and the echoes are still there, but they're not creating mud and too much density. So these settings are definitely variable. You can do a lot with them. If I'm going from memory here, I think I use about a 5 millisecond attack. For this kind of floaty pad sound, I'm going to use a fairly high release, about 300-ish. And then ratio, this, well, yeah, so the ratio is the variable thing too. Now what I want you to see here, this is the line where the compressor will kick in, and this is our audio, right? So what we're seeing here is the compressor isn't doing anything, right? So what we need to do is get the ratio to cut some lines off. And then we'll begin to see our compressor start to work. That's what this line is. This is showing you the volume modulation it's having on the reverb. So see that ducking there? It goes down. That's lowering the volume of the reverb. And this little pink number is the amount of gain reduction. So this is telling us whatever point we're on the line here, we're currently at, like, hovering around 2 to 1.5 decibels of gain reduction. Okay, so we're lowering the reverb, but only a tiny bit. So there's a couple ways to make this stronger. We can just keep lowering the threshold. Another trick, we can also increase the gain of our input. Now, in what I'm trying to do here, this actually works fairly well. I don't know if you can hear that, but we're watching this, we're just trying to get a feel like how well it's working, right? It seems to really hit these notes, blowing that reverb by 12 dB. If you're familiar with decibels, 12 is a magic number. 12 means double or half. So every time you go up 12 dBs, you've doubled in volume. Every time you go down 12 dBs, you've halved the volume. So doing pretty good there. I almost feel like 12 might be too much though. So I'm going to actually turn this threshold up a little. And I'm going to do something else, because there is still, in my opinion, perhaps a bit too much of the reverb still. So actually we're also going to lower our send amount here. See what that did? It just pushed it away a little bit. Now we're reducing the gain of it a bit less, but the input gain is already down, so you know what I mean? Like, we're dynamically lowering it less, but the whole floor is down too, so. Anyways, there you have it. One way to make a beautiful, dreamy kind of Rhodes sound using tools that are included with your basic version of Ableton, free Reverb plugin here. I am basically done showing you that. I have a ton of other Rhodes plugins. I'll actually open a couple of them here and show you those. And after that, I'm going to just take a quick break and come back, and I'm going to give you all just some random jams. Okay. So, one of my sources of Rhodes is this UVI key suite. The electric contains our Tine type pianos, and here's one. We're going to start with the dry one. Now let's also do something, okay? So remember I set everything up so that this Rhodes was going to affect the reverb. We now have to change that to this Rhodes. See, it's got a different character to it. Again, with electric, you could probably achieve a similar sound. It's going to require some experimentation with the settings and knobs. The nice thing with sample libraries like this is these are real samples of real Rhodes, different generations of them. They sound very natural and authentic with no tweaking. I do love that. I am, however, going to play with the effects. Tend to do this a lot. So let's go ahead and get a similar sound to what we had before. And put on some chorus to start with. Our mix was lower, let's see. No, we had a full chorus. Well, we'll leave that. And then the tremolo was built in down here. Okay, so we got 2 out of 3 of our starter effects, and then the saturation. In here, it's a little drive circuit, part of this parametric EQ up here. So you'll notice this kind of mirrors how I set it up with the Ableton plugins, saturation into a chorus, into a tremolo. Then we go into our sends and deal with our reverbs and so on. Yeah, so I've got some drive on, but you can't really hear it. I'm trying a little bit more. Yeah, you can really hear it when I hold those chords. Those up. That sounds great, doesn't it? And there's like no reverb or any space on it yet. It's just all created with these modulation effects, chorus, tremolo. Okay, so let's get it into the reverb as well. I'm going to take my lesson from this last time. It's -9. Okay, I'll put it at -9. Okay. Nice. So here's the plugin. Now we're going back to our reverb, and we're going to use the UVI workstation now as our duck source. So let's hear it with the space verb. Nice. I love it. Okay, let's look at one more Rhodes plugin, just for sake of argument. I will call this particular one that I'm loading from Arturia. This would be, let's call it my second favorite. I really do like the UVI for a couple of reasons. A, it's So really, it's authentic samples, so they're real Rhodes sounds in there. And it's easy, right? It's just there. Like you can play with some effects, but you don't have to do anything else. So that's great. The Stage 73, also an amazing sound. The only thing I don't like about this plugin is just how much my CPU it uses. So again, this is a certain sound too. There's a lot of sounds. You can get a lot of sounds out of any of these plugins. You know, there's many flavors of Rhodes. Let's see, I think I actually set up a couple of my own presets in here. Where's okay, that's pretty spacey. Yeah, I think I did a fair bit of sound design into this already. As you can see. Okay, so interesting. So I have kind of my usual plugin set up here again, are the same type of effects, but can I move this? I thought I could move this. Really, I've forgotten how to. Let's go ahead and find a different one. Okay, so here's a decent one. It's not going to be identical to what the other ones sound like necessarily, but let's turn this down. So big thing too, you probably know this, but with audio, to our ears, louder sounds better. So it's fairly important to keep your instruments, if you're trying to compare sounds, keep them at the same volume. If you don't, like 99% of the time, you're going to just pick what sounded louder. It's weird. It's a psychoacoustic effect. So anyways, that's why I'm lowering the volumes. Everything should match here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn our reverb up. And also, I'm going to need to change my sidechain here. So now our Arturia piano. There you go. Another beautiful Rhodes sound. Okay, well, that kind of covers mainly the technical stuff I wanted to show you today. Apologies if I'm a bit full of ums and stuff. I'm not usually used to making videos where I speak a lot, so I'm going to be hopefully getting better at these. Anyways, but yeah, that's it for the main part of the video. Next up, I'm going to come back and just play some stuff that I'm working on. I don't want to spoil any of my songs, but you'll definitely hear some chunks of things I'm working on in the background here. Okay, back in a few minutes. Well, that's going to wrap us up for the first episode of Teddy Soundbites. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you soon.